Hello and welcome to Legends of the Wind. I'm Jurri Schenck. Thank you for joining us tonight. I am really excited about tonight's story and tonight's guest. I'm so excited. I want you to know that I've never met him before. His name is Marcus Johnson, and this is going to be an incredible time of prophetic storytelling. So welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. You know, one of the things I've been learning about podcasting on YouTube is that it's super important during the show to please hit the subscribe button, hit the share button, and hit the like button all together while you're on the show. Because what happens is the YouTube algorithm will pick up that everyone is sharing this broadcast live right now, and it gets us more visibility and more opportunity for more eyeballs to see us. So I would love for you, if you haven't subscribed to our channel here on Legends of the Wind, please do so right now, and please share it right now with all your friends on social media. And don't forget to hit the bell button and like it right now as well. Would really be helpful for us to get the word out that way as well. So thank you so much. Now, our show is called Legends of the Wind. What does it mean to become a legend? Well, you could think about it as, you know, I'm super famous, or I'm on American Idol, or look how popular I am. That's one way of being a legend. What we do here to become a legend is we look at the function of what it means to become a legend. Now, a legend is something on a map. It tells you where things are and what things mean on a map, and it tells you where you are on the map and helps you know where you're going to go. And these stories help you become a legend. It helps you to identify who you are and your identity and destiny, and these stories give you a sense of that. And they help you point yourself to the future and let you finish and continue your story. So that's kind of how we do it here. We love to tell stories that open people's eyes and give them wisdom and revelation in their purpose in their life. Now, tonight's question for the show, and I want you to think about this. What is the deepest struggle in your life? Now, we're not here to try to dig up dirt, but we want to know, what is it that you're really facing? What's the challenge you're faced with? Tonight's story is called Into the Deep, and it could be a metaphor about something like that. So think about that. Now, as you know, we haven't been on the air for a couple weeks. I took a break from the show, but I actually was doing a couple of private recordings of prophetic stories for different reasons. And actually, everyone who got their prophetic story in that private recording all say, absolutely, please air it on your show. So we will have those broadcasts be coming out soon, and I'll have to figure out how to schedule them. And in those broadcasts, I will be present, and hopefully the guest will be as well. And we'll be talking in the chat while you watch the recording, and you don't want to miss it, because each of these stories are really profound and their responses are really unique. And so you don't want to miss that. It's so important that you understand what people's stories are. Now, as you probably noticed, I've changed. You know, during the break, I shaved my goatee. As those of you who are faithful to be watching this program have seen me melt away over the past 5 or 6 months, and over that time I've lost over 60 pounds of weight on a nutritional program called Optavia. And I am so thankful for the progress that my health has been making. I no longer have high blood pressure medication. I no longer have sleep apnea. My blood levels and my lab work is stellar. So I am really stoked, because I want to be living a long life, and I want to be able to pursue my dream and have my health to bring me there. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. Now, I want to do a little bit of business. Our sale for ordering a story from me, from Legends of the Wind, is a 60% off sale. This sale ends this Friday, September 30th. We've been offering for several months now a 60% off. Now, typically a story will cost $250. The current price at this time is $99. So if you really want to get a story, or if you know someone who does, make sure they do it soon and order a story now, this week. Otherwise, the price will be going up. And so there has been great demand for this service and this product. And so I want to encourage you to do that. Now, also, you can order a book illustration from my wife. Her name's Alisha Choi, or Alisha Schenck now. She just became a U.S. citizen. And she does these designs of these amazing pieces of art. These are actual people's stories in a book form, a softbound or hardbound. And Alisha does the design, and they contain your person's story. And there's a keepsake. There's something special. It's a single print that you get. And I highly recommend that you do that as well. It's a keepsake, basically. Don't forget about our book on Amazon and also on our website, Legends of the Wind. This is volume 1. It has 20 prophetic stories in it. These stories are really rich and powerful, just like every story I've done on this show. And everyone can benefit from them. They have revelations of hidden treasures of truth for your identity and destiny. You can find all of these things at legendsofthewind.com or our books on Amazon as well. Now, if you do want to order a prophetic story, just so you know, there's a couple agreements that are involved. One is a release to become a guest on the podcast. Now, if you don't want to be on the show, I can still work with you on that, and that's not a problem. And then the other course is a contract so that we have your permission to publish your story and things like that. So thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget the audiobook as well. Now, welcome to the show, everyone. I'd like to introduce our guest. His name is Marcus Johnson. So Marcus, I'm about to bring you on. Hey, man, there you are. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Cool, man. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And thank you for becoming a legend. I'm really stoked about giving you your story. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am a lover of the outdoors. My son and we do a lot of scouting, and we camp between 80 and 100 nights a year, 12 months out of the year. So we live for the outdoors and camping and all that stuff.
Cool. And are you working right now? What are you doing? Are you a student? What's happening there?
I work for an airline in a call center helping other agents when they need help with a guest booking. So when people call and they need to make a change to their reservation or something and they can't find what they need, they call me and get the answer.
Cool. That's great. Maybe I could use your help someday.
Maybe.
Well, thank you. Now, tell me about why did you request a prophetic story? Tell us that background and how did you learn about what we're doing here?
So a very good friend of mine had a prophetic story given to her, read to her. And when I heard it, I saw the impact that it had on her. It touched me, and she was generous enough to gift me with a story. And I'm hoping that it gives me some direction.
Okay. Great. Well, that's we'll see how that unfolds. But I'm glad that you are very interested in seeing the impact that these stories have on people's lives. You know, I've told many people over the show, over the years even, that I get really jealous of the people who receive a story because I would love to be on the receiving end. And just actually last night, one of our friends of the show came to our house, Marcia, and gave me a prophetic story, and it blew my mind. I was so pumped. I wanted to, I was thinking, we should just put this on the air, you know? But it was a special moment. So I know how important you, Marcus, and other people who have received the story, how these things really touch your hearts. And it is a significant privilege that I am given the responsibility and ability to do that for you. It's a gift for you. So thank you. Thank you for trusting me. Now, we're going to talk about your story. Do you know what time it is, Marcus?
I think it's story time.
Yes, I love it. You're finally catching on. That's great. Now, your story is titled Into the Deep, and I believe you already know this, but just in case the audience is new, these stories are not to be interpreted literally. These are supposed to be understood symbolically. And the stories are a revelation. And then afterward, we're going to have a conversation and we're going to talk about and unpack your story. It's called Thinking Mythically. And that's the interpretation time. Then you, Marcus, will have to find a way to apply the revelation of your story. Now, you also have power. You have a choice. You can say, yes, I love this story. I accept it. Or you can honestly say, no. This is not my story. I do not accept this. Or you can say parts of it. Or you may say later on, I need to process this story and sit in it. Okay? So that's a method of learning how to approach this process. Okay? That makes sense?
Sounds good.
Okay, very cool. So Why don't we dive into your story, into the deep? Marcus wasn't used to the pressure he was feeling. His helmet, face mask, and oxygen tank were all too tight, and he was feeling lightheaded. Overall, his mission to find the survivors at the bottom of the trench was too much. Marcus was in over his head. The submarine belonged to his enemy nation, and yet his superiors tasked him to make the rescue. Hopefully there were not too many dead, but if anyone were still alive, it would be a miracle. The sunlight dimmed as Marcus continued diving further. Already he was so far down that he would need to use a decompression chamber to recoup after he was done. The rope he followed into the deep was the only thing that guided him to the lost submarine far below. Marcus also had a wire attached to his suit so he could communicate back to the ship on the ocean surface. It was up to him to discover what the situation was. Marcus increased the oxygen saturation in his air to stop his head from spinning. Down, 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 he continued. This was a solo mission, and he regretted his career. The Special Forces were no longer special to him. He fantasized about having a normal life with normal problems. Just a few weeks ago, he was on shore leave and met some of his friends and families at an amusement park. Everyone had such a fun time. Marcus's favorite activity was the target practice booth. He found out that they rigged the rifle he used would always miss the mark if he looked through the sight as normal. But this time he figured out how it worked and shot every target in the bullseye every time. Marcus won trophy after trophy, and all the kids danced for joy. Except for the booth attendant. The frown on his face made Marcus grin even more. But Marcus felt alone despite all the surrounding people. Inside was a deep longing to connect, but he didn't know how. His friends had families and joyful, busy activities, but most of this was foreign to him because of his intense training. Marcus often saw death and wounded soldiers. He knew how to kill a man with his bare hands. Marcus also had high intelligence, and he knew the underbelly of the internet and the crimes of the dark web. All of these experiences made him jaded and lost. Reality to him was another thing, and that was something most did not understand. "Hey man, having fun?" asked Tommy, Marcus's former college roommate. Marcus shrugged off a smile. "Yeah, I got the kids all the stuffed animals." "Sure did. Nice." Tommy paused and looked down. "I know you're going back to the field tomorrow. We just want to know we're thinking about you and want you safe." Marcus took in a deep breath and thought about the significance of his words. "Thanks, Tommy." Tommy patted Marcus's shoulder and went back to his family and the kids. The children screamed in delight. Marcus wondered what it would be like to have innocence again. The memory of innocence and the picture of a child's joy flashed before Marcus's mind as he drew near the bottom of the trench. It was dark by now, and he turned on his halogen lights to see. Dust and rocky debris kicked around as Marcus pushed away from the trench's wall, which now became an angled slope. Ugly deep-sea fish with huge fanged teeth swam by. Their sight startled Marcus, and he inhaled too much too quickly. His head became dizzy again. Marcus steadied his breath and focused on it. He set the oxygen saturation back again to the proper setting. He was fine. Marcus turned his helmet around and shined its lights to look further, and he came to the bottom of the trench. The lead rope he used found its end attached to the head of the submarine's hatch. Marcus swam over and looked around. The vessel was in pretty terrible shape and had dents and tears in it. Could anyone have survived? Thought Marcus. He swam over the body of the vessel and came to a second chamber, which seemed intact. Maybe this is better, pondered Marcus. He continued further and found a hatch that had no damage. Marcus took out a hammer from his belt and struck the hatch door several times. He waited, and a few moments later, someone inside knocked back to him a few times. There were survivors. Marcus gasped with joy. He then took his hammer and through a series of knocks using Morse code, Marcus found out that there were 6 soldiers alive and that their captain and the rest of the crew were dead. The wreckage trapped the men in the back chamber of the submarine. Marcus realized this was indeed a rescue mission and not just a cleanup of the dead. Marcus hammered away that he will tell the ship on the surface to send down a rescue bell chamber. It will take one man at a time to the surface. Marcus then took his communication panel that was connected via the wire to the surface and told them to send down the rescue chamber bell and that there were only 6 survivors. The deep pressure continued to affect Marcus as he typed away and received further orders. His head was spinning more and he was confused. Marcus moved slowly and returned to the hatch where the other men were. He hammered in Morse code to the survivors of his plan. Marcus's oxygen tank was getting lower and lower. It would take 20 long minutes for the rescue bell to come down. Marcus meshes back to the surface. He was getting into trouble. Sealing the rescue bell chamber was the only thing he could do for the first survivor. After that, he would need to surface. Marcus needed help. He humbled himself and requested another diver to rescue him too. Immediately, 3 more divers on the surface ship entered the water and came down. Marcus was the prime investigator, but now his team was on the way. These 3 deep-sea divers guided the rescue bell chamber down to the submarine. Marcus rested on the hull and continued to hammer Morse code to the survivors to keep his mind's attention active. The 20-minute passed, and the rescue bell chamber arrived. Marcus and the 3 divers sealed the chamber and pumped out the water. It was time to open the hatch. The first sailor entered the pressurized chamber, and they closed the hatch to send it up. The first survivor was on the way. Marcus held on to it and came up with it too. But the bends made his body scream in pain, and Marcus passed out. Darkness. Only later, Marcus opened his eyes to see a doctor shine a bright pen light to see if he was responsive. The decompressor chamber pressure process took his toll on Marcus, and he gathered his thoughts. Next to the doctor were Tommy and his wife, who stood by with great concern. She held Marcus's hand. "Tommy," slurred Marcus. His friend replied, "You survived, buddy. We didn't know if you'd make it." Marcus smiled and felt great relief. "No one's gonna kick my ass." Tommy and his wife chuckled. Tommy said, "We're sticking around to see you fully recovered." He patted Marcus's hand. Over the next few weeks, Marcus gained a strength bath. His brain fog lifted as he was on oxygen. Soon his thinking was as sharp as ever. Tommy visited the hospital often and they played cards and chess. Marcus's commander visited him as the doctors were releasing him from the hospital. The commander said, "Your efforts and work were not in vain, sailor. Because of you, you saved many lives. Your country is proud of you." The commander then pinned a medal on Marcus's chest in recognition of his service and sacrifice. Marcus looked down and realized his significance for the first time. "Just doing my job, Commander," said Marcus. Marcus knew his role was a difficult one. He faced incredible challenges, both in relationships and in the natural world. However, he came to know his character and confidence came from his identity as a warrior and as a man. Marcus understood sacrifice and duty, but he still needed to discover a greater joy. So with that as his next mission, the commander gave him leave for 2 months to enjoy the friends and family in his life. His jaded nature will transform into knowing the pleasure of the surrounding people. Not only that, he will discover how to relax and find comfort in his own skin. Inceptio. So it's okay. Everybody, as you've seen, is like drinking from a fire hose. And this story's got a lot in it. And I'm sure you're probably wondering what to say. I'm just trying to fill the air right now as you process. So
Well, where to start?
Yeah.
I took a lot of notes.
Oh, you did? Good. I couldn't see
Yeah.
what I was reading.
Yeah.
So, Marcus, how do you feel? How's this story impact your heart?
Well, there's a lot of accuracy to the feelings and different aspects of the story. Like one of the first things I was able to do was correlate Tommy to like my best friend and his wife.
Okay.
And you know that he would say things like that. The first thing that I wrote down was in over my head.
Wow.
And I have seriously felt like that for some time.
Wow. I'm here for you. And here's the thing. If heaven is shouting to you in this story and identifies that you're in over your head, then heaven's going to provide help for you and a solutions for you. So I want to encourage you that this is a safe place for you, Marcus, and that we are all here for you. Jen Wheeler says hello, and Alisha and Kylie say hello, everyone. And Jen says, wow, so good, multiple exclamation points. So, Marcus, you can share anything that you feel comfortable sharing. If you don't, then don't. It's okay. I will not try to press or pry. But I do want to help you process your story. So, what else is sticking out to you?
Well, I have been told that I have this savior complex.
Really?
Yeah, that I have this need to save people, and that I will put myself through hell to try to save them
Wow.
at any cost. And so the solo, I'll just go through like some of the things I wrote down.
Yeah, go ahead. Go through your
The
notes.
the
That's a way to go through this. Go through your notes.
the, the enemy nation. Sometimes your best friend can be your worst enemy. And I'm not talking about like my boyfriend Tommy in this case, but and the decompression that I haven't been able to like decompress for months or years. The feeling of my head spinning and being on a solo mission. I always felt like I had to do it alone, or I was doing it on my own, and I was always off trying to save somebody else, and I wasn't saving myself.
Okay. Wow.
Um, the part about going to the amusement park with all the kids, it reminded me of like my scouts
Okay.
and my love for bringing them joy and helping them. The target practice is probably the most accurate thing. I'm very competitive and love the trophies, and will find a way to win at just about any cost.
Wow.
Um, I You said that, or the story said that I was a warrior, and one of the very first tattoos I got was in Chinese kanji, and it meant warrior.
Oh, wow.
So I've always felt like a warrior, in that I would fight for the people that I love, my
Mm-hmm.
friends and my family, and that was my greater joy, being around them and making them happy and seeing them. Um, I wrote down the memory of innocence,
Mm.
because I don't remember what it's like to be innocent, or have that feeling. And then, as I in the story was running out of oxygen, I have certainly felt like I'm running out of breath, and I wrote down, "Just breathe."
Hmm.
Uh, the pressure of the water at that depth. I definitely feel a lot of pressure in my life, for my kids, for my friends, for my family, for work, for scouts, for a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and as I'm running out of air, I'm telling people that I need them to rescue me. And I don't know that I would necessarily say to people that I need rescued, but I have definitely felt like I've needed rescuing lately.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The the pain and darkness that we're talking about being down there. There has definitely been a lot of that in my life,
Okay.
but the waking up to my best friend and his wife, almost as good as probably waking up to my folks.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they mean a lot to me,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, um, the you did it, buddy, you made it, or however you said that.
Yeah.
That's exactly something that he would say. Um,
Your dad would say that? Or
no, my buddy,
your friend, your best friend.
yeah,
Okay.
my
Wow.
dad would probably say it too, but I in the correlation, I can certainly see that,
Mm-hmm.
and then just needing a break. Uh, I definitely need a break from. I guess the best way to put it is I just need a break from trying to save people, whether they need to be saved or not.
Mm.
I need to take time and spend with my family and friends who want and need me around.
I think you captured the elements of this story perfectly to your own life. I mean, um, I knew that this story had a lot of realism to it, and I've told other guests on other shows that this is still symbolic, and so you've really tapped into it, and I'm really amazed to see how this story literally read your mail, as they say, and really talked about you. I ever met you before? Have I ever talked to you before? No,
Not
no,
once,
I haven't.
no.
And but the thing is, it's not about me and my gift. What has to do is that this story comes from heaven, and the Father in heaven is speaking to you clearly, succinctly. He's rescuing you. So while in this story you are a special ops or a Navy SEAL kind of guy rescuing the crash in the bottom of the ocean, and you mentioned that you have a survivor savior complex. Well, he's coming to rescue you, Marcus. He's come to help you. I also think it's interesting that the solution. What is the solution? Has to do with joy, has to do with pleasure. The enemy will try to give a counterfeit pleasure, but true pleasure is heavenly, right? And so if you're trying to save others, right? That's what you said. You're saving others all the time, but you need to save yourself. It's so important for you to love yourself. Can you let that sink in? Is that you're so warrior mindset and solo minded to say, I am getting my value from helping others, but in the sense is you haven't loved yourself. Just recently, I got confronted by a pastor friend of mine, and I want to tell you something vulnerable about myself. So he said that I have a revelation of loving others, but I don't have a revelation to have love for myself from heaven, from God. See, I have this gift. I have this storytelling prophetic gift, and it's really real. It's really creative. It's really cool, but there's parts of me that I don't connect with. I have a connection with Father God on some level, but there's parts of me that don't. And the Bible says that we love him because he first loved us. So Marcus, in order for you to love yourself, you can't do it from an empty tank. And would you say you're on an empty tank for a while?
Yeah, fumes.
Yeah, and I understand. So the trick is to receive. And I think that this story talks about that, about how you can receive. It has to do with pleasure and joy. There's an old saint from the medieval times, I think. It's John Eldridge writes about this. I keep saying I got to look him up, and I haven't looked him up yet. But he says that the glory of God is the heart of a man fully alive. It isn't about performance. It isn't about how great I can help someone rescue them. It's about what is it that makes your heart come alive. Marcus, you need to know that you need to give yourself permission to have fun for yourself. You need to grant yourself permission to be joyful, to enjoy life, to enjoy yourself. See, Marcus, you have incredible talent. You're an amazing guy. You have abilities that other men don't have, and they're valuable and treasured. And so you sometimes are aware of those things, but you need to invest in yourself. This isn't being selfish. This isn't being self-seeking or selfish ambition. This is about being a parent to yourself. Marcus, can you love yourself like a mom and dad would? Where you would honor yourself and love yourself and nurture yourself and comfort yourself to the point to where you can say, I love it. Not that I have faith or know that I'm holy. That's religious speak. I'm actually taking away religious language on this show on purpose to basically connect with people with normal life, but still talking about the kingdom. Marcus, can you come to the place where you can enjoy yourself? I love how it says here at the end. I'll read this a little bit. It says here, so with that was his next mission. The commander gave him leave for 2 months to enjoy the friends and family in his life. His jaded nature will transform into knowing the pleasure of the surrounding people. Not only that, he will discover how to relax and find comfort in his own skin. You know, when I wrote this story yesterday. And when I wrote that ending, I was worried that I was too on the nose, that I was being too forceful. Honestly, I don't think I heard from heaven. That is exactly the solution for you. It really is, to become comfortable in your own skin. You know, over the years, I had been super insecure and needy. And I would have to oh, hey, can you fill me up, man? Can you help me feel better about myself? And as I grew and as I become more confident, as I began to love myself, I became more comfortable in my own skin. I began to enjoy myself. So I want to encourage you for that. Now, I've talked a long time, and I know I needed to. So it's your turn, Marcus. Give me some feedback. What's happening in your heart right now?
I have spent the better part of half of my life dedicating my love, my heart, all of those things to other people, and felt that it was in my nature and a greater power, if you will, telling me that just no matter what, love them. And so I did. And I went through torment. I went through pain. I went through all of that to love others and forgot about who I was. And it wasn't until about 4 or 5 years ago that I found a calling in scouting and helping out, and I sank myself into it and was touched by a number of wonderful people around. It's how I met my best friends, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. But like I threw myself into not saving other people, but trying to save a program and giving back. Baden Powell, who's the founder of Scouting, he left a quote with us that the best thing that you can do is give happiness to others, and that way, when you die, you know that you left the world a better place. And the first time I heard that, it spoke to me that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to bring happiness to everyone and anyone, but I forgot to bring happiness to myself and allowed myself to be tormented and in pain and unloved for so long. And I have a pretty good idea of who the commander is in the story.
Who is it?
The commander in the story to me is my mom.
Okay. And how does their mom factor into being the commander here?
She's always the one telling me that I do too much and that I just need to take a break and do something for myself.
Wow. And it's funny that it's a woman that says that. Nurturing, caring, soothing, milk, a comforting. See, she loves you. She loves you, Marcus. And she doesn't want you to destroy yourself.
She's told me that many times.
Yeah. And so God is not male only. There's male, masculine aspects to him, but there's also a feminine side, which, some people may say the Holy Spirit or the Spirit of wisdom, maybe. But there's a part of him that is nurturing and caring. It's kind of like, is he the lamb or is he the lion? And you've been the lion for so long that you haven't sat down and rested. And so this is an invitation. This story, this legend, Marcus, is an invitation to you from heaven to come into the place of restoration. David writes in one of his poems that he leads me by still waters and restores my soul. Marcus, it is due time for you to have your soul restored, where it's okay to pamper and love and nurture yourself. Imagine that this story is like a kiss from heaven on your forehead. And it's like your mom putting her hands on your face, kissing your forehead, and saying, go have fun. Enjoy yourself. Pleasure is from heaven. Do you know that C.S. Lewis writes that when the enemy hears laughter, they can't stand it. They can't stand even the sound of people, children laughing, because it just destroys their evil nature. Maybe you should find some comedy, movies, stand-up comedians that won't violate your conscience, but enjoy yourself. Find out what is it that you would imagine yourself doing that you would bring the things that make you come alive. See, there's a saying that I have. Wait. What is it? What happened? What did you just see?
Uh, so I'm the jokester.
Uh-huh. Okay.
I I have done some stand up comedy. I am the prankster. Uh, I'm always up for a good laugh,
Okay.
and
Okay.
so when you said that, like some of the happiest times of my life was when I was telling comedy or joking around. Uh, it's what I do well.
Okay. Cool. Well, there. See, you see, you have to see. I'm flowing tonight. I'm in my element, and I'm here for you. So, do you like Robin Williams?
Yeah, who doesn't?
I think he's the greatest. I
Oh yeah.
adore him. I mean, I
Mhm.
remember years ago watching on YouTube before when they had to break up the runtime of videos before they made them long. That you had to be 10 minutes. I went through like 12 videos or 10 of Robin Williams on the Actors Studio from the acting school, and he was just all over the place, just being absolutely hilarious. You see, I want you to tap into something about you. You have joy. Joy makes you come alive. Joy is a heaven's business. Joy is a serious business of heaven. Serious business. So serious that, it just fireworks go off and sparks come off when people are laughing in heaven. And so he wants to give that to you. And so if you can find ways of enjoying yourself without violating your conscience or harming others, let that shine, man. As you captured that, you saw that, and I let you jump in. I was about to say, there's a saying I have. It's called permission granted. Marcus, today, as your friend, I grant you permission to have joy. I grant you permission to have fun. I grant you permission to love yourself in a powerful way. You can take time for yourself, and you don't have to feel guilty about it. You don't have to rescue anybody in this season. This is your time to come alive. I give you permission, Marcus Johnson, to shine like the sun, to come alive, to have fullness of joy, to really connect with the heart of heaven, with his heart, where you may find his pleasure. I mean, one thing comes to mind is someone asks, what is the purpose of man? And they say, to know God and to enjoy him and find his pleasure. See, I don't want that to be a religious exercise for you. Religion kills. Religion constrains and cuts off. I want to give you freedom to live, and that's heaven for you. That's what Christ wants for you. So I'm really encouraged. I'm really excited for you, Marcus, because this is really a kiss from heaven for you. The chat's been active, and I haven't addressed them. Marcia says very powerful. Mackie says yes, breathe. Marcia also says that's good, Jurri. Jen says, he really is an amazing guy. And Mackie says, he is an amazing guy. He deserves to love himself and be loved by others. Jen continues, you definitely heard from heaven. So powerful and encouraging. And Jen also says, he is a comedian, LOL. Man, I know you're emotional. I know you're feeling it right now. I can tell. We love you. And men bring strength to other men. Marcus, I offer you my strength. I offer you my courage and identity for you. You are an incredible man. You are powerful. You have wisdom. You have resources, mental capacity, creativity. You are a connector. You love people deeply. We honor you today. You are valuable. You are not worthless. If you have shame, that is a message from the enemy. And I would encourage you to say no to shame. I encourage you to say no to shame and say, yes, I accept myself and I honor myself today, now. You are more powerful than you realize, Marcus. And inside of you is light and gold, treasure. And you are meant to shine. And here's the thing, Marcus. When you shine and you're glorious, you give others permission to shine too. And a good leader sets the example. If you're going to be a leader to young men in scouts, or in your job or call center or wherever you are, if you're going to lead and be a leader and lead by example, the number one thing you must do is love yourself the way he loves you. First, you love him and love yourself, and then out of that resource, then you can effectively impact those young men because you have set an example. And I want you to know this is not a performance. Religion wants you to perform to get your value. You don't have to perform to get your value. You get your value because he says who you are already without having to do anything. Anyway, when I was living in Los Angeles at my university where I was getting my master's in film, I was part of a church and a group of people, and that church was very unhealthy. And they said that they had a performance faith mentality, that their worth and value of you as a Christian was how much faith can you muster up? How much faith can you believe? How much can you strive to believe in faith? And it was super just awful, toxic. I had to come out of it. I realized that I don't have to strive to perform, to believe. I just receive him and give it away. And I want to offer you freedom, Marcus, in this time. So this story is a story of identity and destiny for you, where you're offered rest and joy and pleasure. Not the world's pleasure, but his, for yourself and from him, for him. It's a two-way street. Does it make sense? Good.
Yes.
Good. Mackie has a couple things she said. We love you so much. Fulfill your needs so that you can help others fulfill their needs. Now, I don't know who Mackie is, but she sounds like a wonderful friend of yours. She and Jen love you deeply.
She's my daughter.
Wow. Mackie, thank you. Thank you, Mackie. You know what, Marcus? She's your daughter, and she loves you. Now, if your own daughter can love you so much like that, in the same way and greater does the Father love you too. Maybe he expresses himself and his love to you through Mackie. Maybe he's shining his heart to you through her. Maybe heaven is speaking to you through Mackie and Jen. And so you have to be aware of when heaven's speaking. Heaven comes in unpresentable forms. You know, it's like this. If someone who is a homeless man, who has long matted hair, has clothes he hasn't washed in months, and he stinks to high heaven, and heaven sends him to you with a piece of gold, would you be so offended and could not recognize that heaven sent him to give you the gold? Would you reject heaven's messenger and ignore and miss the opportunity of that gold? There are different people in your life, Marcus, that heaven is sending to you. Not just me in this story, but in your own personal life. And gold is being given to you. Will you see it? Can you recognize it? And then will you receive it? So important that, that you needed help. Heaven's come to help you. And here's the cool thing. Sometimes God shows up with skin on. Comes in people. He chooses to use people. He can come on his own. He does sometimes with different people and time. But heaven uses people. He uses people. Isn't that what family and community is all about? So let them love on you. You know what? I have a challenge for you guys. Marcus and those who are loving him, Jen, Mackie, anyone else? What if you were to have a party? A party to celebrate Marcus. Is it his birthday? No, his birthday's on another time. There's no date here. It's a person. What if it was a celebration of life, but you're not dead? Follow me? What if it was a joyful party where the people in your life come to speak words of love and affirmation to you, and how Marcus touched them? You have been a savior to others. What if they come save you? What if they identify to you what you have done, the sacrifices you make, and give you that badge and that medal, just like the commander did in your story? What if it's a time to receive love, Marcus? What if the people in your life hold a party for you? And guys, what if it's a surprise party? And he's just going to go through his day, da-da-da-da-da, and all of a sudden, surprise! We celebrate you, Marcus. Because you see, that's heaven on earth. Heaven is a party. Heaven is a joyful place where they celebrate. Marcus, it is due time for you to celebrate you, to honor you. And you see what's going to happen is that's going to heal your heart. The survivor, or no, the savior complex that you have can't be removed unless it's replaced. How is it replaced? Where love comes to love yourself. Okay? You are deserving of love, Marcus, and you need to love yourself. So if you can't do it right now because you're on fumes and you're on an empty tank, then let heaven fill you up. What do you think about that? Say no to shame. I know you. I know you. I know what you're thinking. The opposite. Go ahead.
My fill up, if you will, to heaven. Heaven to me is. I like the idea of the party as heaven, but heaven to me is the mountains.
Okay, great, sure.
So that's where I've gone to fill up.
Perfect. My dad does that same thing. Yeah, absolutely. So
I practically grew up on the Oregon coast, and even to this day, I know my parents. Thank you to them for making that a part of me. But that was our fill up as a family, was going to the Oregon coast every other weekend. So.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you a question.
Was our heaven.
That's great. So in camp, like in Scouts, right? Outdoorsy stuff, right? Do you understand the power of ritual?
Yes.
Okay. So, like the typical King Arthur, you have a knight and they knight you. They take the sword and they do the thing. What if, Jen, Mackie, I'm speaking to you guys. Jen and Mackie, you guys need to create a ritual of initiation for Marcus to receive joy from heaven, acceptance, or something like that. You need to find a cool way where all of you can go camping together and surprise him with some sort of process that is memorable for Marcus to know that he has been initiated into another season of his life. See, the Jewish people have bar mitzvah, and boys and girls turn 12 or 13. And that's when they no longer are a child, they become a man. It's a ceremony or ritual of initiation. And ritual, in some ways, is very important and missing in our culture. So he needs some sort of cool way that doesn't make him feel bad or embarrass him, but in a way that is honorable, that gives him a sense that in this moment, in this time, he went from something and became something else. Does that make sense, you guys? Hope that makes sense. You need a ritual, an initiation, a ceremony. You know, weddings are a ceremony. You're no longer two, you become one. The chat. You love. So, Mackie says, I will always be there for you no matter what. Jen, I think it's time to plan a party. Jen says, yes, let's do it, Mackie. Okay, yes. And then Mackie's asked, this is why I laughed. Can I bring a sword to dub him? Sure, babe, says Jen. So this is so valuable for you, Marcus. Our identity comes from relationship. Yes, transformation ceremony, says Jen. So Marcus, get ready to become honored. Really. See, I knew that this story tonight would be freaking awesome. I just had this bubbling thing in my heart. I didn't know how you'd receive this story. I didn't have any clue. And yet here it is. I read your mail. And what does it lead you to? Your healing. I love it.
Spot on.
Cool. So you got a great family and a great community to celebrate you. I would encourage you, if it's possible, with your scouts, the boys, you bring those boys to the ceremony, if it's possible. Let them observe you as their leader being initiated in this way. And then later, when you're working with those boys and their family, you initiate them when it's time. You will know how to do it because it happened to you. You will be able to impart to them what you received. Does that make sense? So if you can, have your young guys come and join the celebration, that you'll need them. Because you know what? You're going to be passing on to them incredible things. More than what you already have. Does that make sense? Cool. Wow. So we're in just an hour long. This is amazing broadcast. I am pumped. So, Marcus, what would you tell someone who's never heard of prophetic storytelling? How would you encourage them to get their own story? What would you say if that was the case?
You have to be willing to have an open mind and be ready to receive a gift. And don't try to pick every detail out of the story, but to pick the ones that are you, that mean something to you, and find a way. Exactly what I've heard is find your direction. Let it help you find your direction. Mm-hmm. And I sincerely believe that I have found my direction tonight.
Oh, that speaks volumes. Wow. Thank you, Marcus. It is an honor and an absolute pleasure to help you tonight, to encourage you, to strengthen you, to bring on the people in your life to surround you with support. It's beautiful. Wow. Guys, thanks.
Thank you, Jurri.
You're welcome, man. You're welcome. You know, for those of you who are interested in getting your own prophetic story, we'd like to premiere for the first time on our show tonight a little 2.5 minute commercial we created So don't go away, but watch this commercial, and Marcus, stick around, okay? So we're going to come back to you. So guys, check out this thing that we made. It talks about how to become a legend.
How much did you know about me before you wrote that story?
Your story is just literally every line. I mean, seriously.
And just seeing that happen again in your story, well, that's just, that can't be a coincidence, obviously.
That's fantastic. Wow.
So there's some pieces of that story that are quite profound and are right in reality.
Shariah said, I want my light to shine, Jasmine. Jasmine kissed Shariah's forehead and said, glow. Let your glory shine. You're worthy, Shariah. Therefore, Shariah turned away from her magical mentor and faced the dark forest before her.
Jurri, it's just incredible. It's so Holy Spirit inspired. And that's why it moves me to tears, because I just felt like he literally spoke to you. He literally spoke to you about me.
Want to know what story you're in? Discover your own tale in books written about you. Imagine a library in heaven that contains books with stories written about you and me. These stories could be in any genre, from fantasy, mystery, action-adventure, or romance. Do you want to know what story you're in?
I love that you are using what you have in a powerful way to reach people that's outside of the box.
Yeah.
You're using your skill set to lower the wall that would keep people from wanting to receive, and you're releasing what you have in a way that can be received by someone who doesn't yet know the love of God.
Yeah.
And I really commend you for that. It is a forerunning that you are doing.
Thank you.
You're pioneering it.
Yeah.
A couple people text me, what does this mean, when I sent them the link.
Right.
I've never heard of this before. That's right, because I think Jurri's the only one doing it. And I really commend you for it.
Thank you. Marcia and Edwin, thank you.
Order a personalized, revelatory, unique story to discover the glory inside your heart. Peer into the pages of the Father. Become a legend and discover your identity and destiny here in Legends of the Wind. Click the link, order now.
Cool. Did you get to see that, Marcus? Did I come on your camera? Could you see it?
No.
Oh, you didn't see it?
I just was listening.
Oh, okay. Man, well, I'll have to send you the link or something like that. But I wanted to show everybody.
I'll just watch this later.
Oh, you're going to have to, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's so much. But yeah, we made this recently, and we're so excited about communicating to other people about what we're doing. And I'm so thankful for all the people that have been a part of this program. And Marcus, you're one of them. You've become a legend. I'm so proud of you. I really am. So thank you so much. So guys, we're still watching. Please share this right now. Please go and subscribe on YouTube. Hit the like button if you haven't liked it already. Do some more likes if you want, if it's possible, because part of the YouTube algorithm is that the more activity that guests are watching live, the more visibility they're going to give it. So thank you so much, guys in the audience, for commenting, for watching, for being part of the show, for helping Marcus be celebrated. Mackie says, the Father is your compass. Let him guide you. So, man, I think you got a great daughter. I think that's fantastic. So I think go love on her and let her love on you tonight, okay? So remember, guys, we have our sale still going on for 60% off for a prophetic story. The sale price is $99. That ends this Friday, September 30th. Our normal price is $250. So if you can help spread the word, let people know it's time to order and get on board with that before our prices increase. If you want to reach me and contact me, you can find me at support@legendsthewind.com. Our shows are typically on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Mountain, 7 Pacific. Now, just so you know, like when we took our break from a couple weeks now, I did a couple private recordings, and those are going to be aired at different times. So we're going to have to figure that out. So just be watchful on Facebook about that. But guys, thanks so much for a great show. Marcus, really great to meet you, man.
Likewise.
Yeah, and I think that you're going to never, ever forget tonight. Really. Tonight will be helping you for the rest of your life as you take steps in response to it. Does that make sense?
100%.
Great. Well, guys, Marcus, let's say goodnight to our show, to our guests, or to our viewers. So, Marcus, thank you for being with me tonight and letting me give you your story.
Thank you. I sincerely appreciate it.
You're welcome, man. Don't hang up because I'm going to talk to you in the after show, okay? So, guys, welcome. Thank you for watching us tonight. Thank you for participating in the chat. Thank you for spreading the word. Let people know about other stories. You're welcome, Mackie. You're welcome. Thank you so much, Jurri. It's a pleasure to help people this way. So, guys, we'll see you on the next broadcast, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a good night. See you soon.